Do you like the members of Team Taka? Suigetsu, Karin, and Juugo, the people Sasuke brought together to go hunt down Itachi, and then after he found out Itachi was a good guy all along, he wanted to take revenge of the Leaf Village, he also took them along. To some very crazy adventures, one might say. Invade the 5 Kage Summit, capture a tail beast. Those were some extremely difficult missions, and obviously the members of a squadron that will do such missions should be pretty powerful and important. Especially because they're on Sasuke's team, the second most important character in the series. But the thing is, they are shafted by Kishimoto, and I'm not even sure if Kishimoto ever even intended on developing them in any substantial way. Let's take a deeper look into those 3 characters. They're all introduced one after the other during the Itachi Pursuit arc. Sasuke goes from hideout to hideout after he kills Orochimaru, gathering up his team, and from the get-go you can see they're very different characters from what you would expect. Suigetsu's the more relaxed, funny guy, but he has some very interesting jutsus, being able to turn his body into water, and obviously giving Suigetsu the Executioner's Blade is a perfect excuse for you to take Sasuke back to the Great Naruto Bridge, and the same location where Team 7 had their first major fight. Karin is a new love interest for Sasuke. Well, Sasuke is not interested in her, but she is interested in Sasuke, which is a dynamic Kishimoto likes, I suppose, because pretty much every girl likes Sasuke. And mechanically speaking, she is extremely useful, being able to heal and also sense people. So whenever the plot requires, she can heal people up, she can also sense things around them, tell Sasuke about threats, and she also very much serves as comic relief. In contrast to Suigetsu, they are very much at odds with each other. Karin pretends she doesn't like Sasuke, that she's nonchalant, but deep down she wants Sasuke very much. While Suigetsu teases her for that. Now Juugo, the third one, is a little bit different. He's much more reserved and has a tendency of killing people with immense brutality if he gets unhinged with the nature energy around him when he gets a little bit upset. So much so that Kimimaro and now Sasuke are the only 2 people capable of just calming him down. And obviously those 3 characters have very different personalities and skill sets. And because they're gonna be following Sasuke for a while, you would think they would have a little bit of depth and also character development to them. They're so different that unlike most teams that are introduced after Team 7 that are not from the Konoha 12, they do not mirror Team 7 itself. Think about this for example. Minato's team with Kakashi, Rin, and Obito. It's an obvious mirror to Team 7. Kakashi-sensei is Minato-sensei. Sasuke is young Kakashi. Naruto is young Obito, and Sakura is young Rin. Well, Rin was always young, but whatever. And if you take a look at Jiraiya's team with Nagato, Yahiko, and Konan, Yahiko is the Naruto on that team, Nagato is the Sasuke, and Konan is the Sakura. But on Team Taka, or Hebi, because it becomes Taka later on, whatever, that correlation doesn't really happen, does it? Well, first because the team itself is not a sensei-student type team, it's much more of a squadron. And I guess you could say, if you stretch, that Karin could be the Sakura on that team, Suigetsu could be the Naruto, and Juugo could be the Sasuke, and older Sasuke could be Kakashi-sensei, but it doesn't really fit all that much. Even though, when Sasuke fights against Killer Bee and he's about to use Amaterasu, he thinks back to Team 7 relating to his current team that are saving his life time and time again during that fight to use the jutsu. So obviously the team makes Sasuke reflect upon the team he used to have, but the characters don't have a one-to-one correlation with the characters of Team 7. So that already makes things very interesting because, well, Sasuke is the captain of this team now. How is he going to deal with all those things? How is he going to develop bonds with his new comrades? How is the relationship between those new characters going to develop amongst themselves and also amongst other characters in the series? They would certainly have a lot to relate to with the characters from the Konoha 12, for example, because they also knew Sasuke. The problem is, none of those 3 characters ever gets any character development whatsoever. And this is kinda crazy to say. I mean, it's not as if those characters have all flat arcs that are not supposed to change. No, all 3 of them are very much flawed. Karin has a completely unhealthy and creepy obsession with Sasuke. Juugo goes around killing people when he gets out of control. Suigetsu doesn't really care about anything, only about having bigger swords. So it's not as if those 3 characters characters were ever designed to remain the same throughout the entire story, like Minato, for example. There was at least a setup for those characters to develop, but we never see that happening. Kishimoto treats them like plot devices all the way through the end of the series. We never get any nuance on any of those three characters, and that's kinda disappointing. Let's go through all three of those characters and explain why Kishimoto let them down. Starting off with Suigetsu, and I think this one has the most potential if I'm being honest. He's by far the most charismatic character out of those three, and he has very interesting powers and Zabuza's sword. But also the potential with Suigetsu's background being from the Mist Village. Having a connection to the Swordsman of the Mist, this could have been developed a lot. Like, yeah, the first time you get introduced to him, he seems kinda weird, also pretty quirky and funny here and there, but you never really get a deeper sense of who Suigetsu is, what are his real goals, why is he really with Sasuke helping him out, doing all those things, oh because you won Samehada or whatever, really? That's it? He seems pretty loyal to Sasuke, and you really don't know why he would be so loyal to him. Like, is it fear? Maybe Sasuke's way more powerful than him, but Sasuke is not gonna try and stop Suigetsu from leaving if he wants to, but he's just kinda there, helping Sasuke out here and there. He has a brief sparring match with Kisame and kind of loses to him. The only time he gets minute character development is during the Killer Bee fight, where he almost gets killed by a tail beast bomb, and he even acknowledges as he's fighting against the A-Tails and that water avatar of his, oh, I can't believe I'm gonna die to save them, but I'm still gonna do it. And that's like self-sacrifice, because yeah, Suigetsu was always self-centered. Sure, he was helping Sasuke out during his quest to go after Itachi, and after that to go after the Leaf Village, but before that Killer Bee fight, he never really had to put himself in real danger, and he didn't really want to do that. So him acknowledging, okay, I'm gonna protect my friends is something, I guess, but there wasn't even any development to inform why Suigetsu would change his mind so much. Why is he willing to die for people that he kinda hates, especially when it comes to Karin? I mean, he doesn't hate Sasuke or even Juugo, I would say, but he doesn't really like Juugo particularly either. And yet now he's trying to sacrifice himself to go and save them. This relationship between Team Taka / Hebi was not very well fleshed out. We never get a sense that they grow together as a team. Like, yes, they save Sasuke after the Deidara fight, and then they save Sasuke during the Killer Bee fight a lot of times and really help Sasuke out during the 5 Kage Summit, but they never have a heart-to-heart or anything like that. Almost everything they do seems mechanical from a storytelling perspective. Yes, they're helping Sasuke out. Yes, they're doing things that are moving the plot forward, but they feel empty because they lack character. The Taka characters never cease to be a caricature. Suigetsu is like the funny, sarcastic guy. Karin is the obsessed, love-struck girl that wants to hide the fact that she is in love with a cool guy, and Juugo is a gentle giant with a bipolar complex. Yeah, those tropes are gonna hold the characters standing for a while, but after some time you're gonna need way more than that to develop them and to make them interesting. And that never happens with Suigetsu. We never get a deeper look into Suigetsu's psyche or anything like that. If we take a look at the Chunin exams, for example, when we got introduced to 30 new important characters in the series, we got a lot of information about them, about their motivations, their flaws, everything. Like, the only character in the Konoha 12 that wasn't flashed out in the Chunin exams was Tenten, and that's based because nobody cares about Tenten. And then when we have Team Taka here with just 3 new characters, we barely get to know them in a deeper level, which is disappointing. Like, Sasuke abandons them in the 5 Kage Summit, and they just crawl back to him. I mean, Suigetsu finds the scroll that tells them, oh, if we get the mask, we can take, you know, Orochimaru's soul back and everything. Bring back the Hokage, and so Orochimaru and the others head to the location, the Leaf Village, the Uzumaki clan location, and they revive the first 4 Hokage, but that's it. I mean, they help out a little bit during the war, fighting against Guru Zetsu using Yamato's body, and they try to save Sasuke after he got stabbed by Madara, but Kabuto gets there first, and they don't even do anything. We don't even get to see what their Tsukiyomi dreams are, which actually could have been a good way to at least show us what those characters were all about. But let's roll back a little bit and analyze Karin. A character that's very typically in love with Sasuke, and unfortunately, that's her entire character during the entire series. She has no other motivation other than, doing you-know-what with Sasuke. So at least you know why she would be very loyal to him, but that's it. There's nothing else to her character. And she comes off very annoying many times. I guess you can infer that her past was pretty rough with all those bites around her body that she was experimented on by Orochimaru and Kabuto. And the same thing could be said about Suigetsu because he lived in a freaking tank. But this implied backstory, which definitely happened, we just don't know exactly how it happened, is not used to develop the characters further. It's fine if Karin is toxically in love with Sasuke, something that's really bad for her, but the obvious character arc for Karin would be for her to leave that toxic mindset and just not care about Sasuke anymore. And then you may say, well, what about Naruto and Sakura? They were very much caring about Sasuke during the entire series. Naruto was doing some stupid things to try and bring Sasuke back. But the thing is, at least Naruto and Sakura knew Sasuke and had a relationship with him and saw Sasuke as a good person before. Yeah, Sakura was in love with Sasuke before she even spoke to him, but Karin was just there. We never even see why she would be in love with Sasuke in the first place. There's no reason we're given. I guess it's because he's hot or something. But the worst part about Karin's character is that she's absolutely betrayed by Sasuke. Remember what Sasuke did to her in the Danzo fight. Danzo captures her as a hostage, and Sasuke tells Karin, "Don't move, Karin." Then she smiles because, oh, Sasuke's gonna save me. And then she pierces Karin and Danzo with a Chidori spear. She uses Karin to get Danzo, the girl that had been helping him out, healing him and everything all the way. He discards her without any care in the world. And you can say, well, but Sasuke also tried to kill Sakura and they end up together in the end. Well, that's very different. Because actually, if you don't remember, Sakura was also trying to kill Sasuke in that same scene. So there wasn't a betrayal, so to speak. But with Karin, it's different. Sasuke, in his most deranged, crazy Mangekyo Sharingan enhanced mode, pierces her to get Danzo and doesn't even consider helping Karin out. Because yeah, Sasuke did help her out in the fight against Killer Bee, for example. He saved Karin from getting hit with a tentacle of the Eight Tails, and after that, he extinguished the dark flames that hit Karin by mistake. And that spent a lot of chakra, made his eye hurt, and also it spent a little bit of his eyesight. But now, no, Sasuke has gone deranged, and this should have been the definite awakening call for Karin to understand, yeah, I think life may be a little bit more than just, liking Sasuke. Especially because Sasuke never showed any interest in Karin whatsoever. He was never even kind to her in any way. Unlike Sakura, for example. Which, he punched Sakura before he left the village and knocked her unconscious, but before he did that, at least he thanked her. And obviously I'm not saying Sakura's character is perfect here or anything. She has a lot of wasted potential as well, but she has had a lot more development than the members of Team Hebi, and for a good reason. I mean, she's one of the main characters. She's in the main team of the series. But the amount of character development she got from being in that team is pretty low. However, it's still much higher than these three characters here. But coming back to Karin, after she gets betrayed and stabbed by Sasuke, she's taken to the Leaf Village. She's taken prisoner, and when Sasuke returns to the Leaf Village, she comes back crawling to him. She even punches Suigetsu for no reason other than, oh, she's so angry at Sasuke, but she can't bring herself to go and punch Sasuke, so she punches Suigetsu instead. And then she's like, oh my god, I love Sasuke so much, Sasuke. Like, why? This is negative character development. It's like you set up her to change with that entire interaction with Sasuke and Danzo there, but then you just don't do anything. And then in the war, Karin heals Tsunade and awakens her adamantine chains to break through the siege that was laid by Guru Zetsu and the Buddha statue there. And yeah, the chains are kind of cool. It makes her a combat character because she never really fought before. And if you want Karin to be a little bit more active, I guess you could have given the chains to her before the final moments of the work. But that's pretty much all she does in the work. As you can see, she remains a caricature, a very one-dimensional character, never gets any development whatsoever, and every time she does something, it's just for the sake of mechanics and to further the story and the plot. It never has to do with her character. The most quote-unquote character Karin gets are the actions other people, mainly Sasuke, take around her. For example, when he chose to save her in the fight against Killer Bee, remembering Team 7, and when he chose to sacrifice her in the fight against Danzo because, well, he was so deranged. That informed Sasuke's character, but Karin herself, she doesn't go through any development at all. And then we get Juugo, another character that doesn't go through any development. And there's a cool premise around this character. Kishimoto makes him the original curse mark user. Well, he doesn't have a curse mark, but he is the person Orochimaru used to base the curse mark off of, because he has the ability to draw the nature energy into himself, becoming crazy like that, and acquiring the weird extension limbs of the curse mark. The way he can use his abilities is pretty fun. He can create axes and blades with the curse mark, he can create cannons and everything, and the duality of the character can be fun as well, and also a source of tension for the narrative. Like, oh, is Juugo gonna go crazy now? What are we gonna do? Oh, Sasuke's not around? How are we gonna contain him? This is a very good option for Kishimoto if he wants to introduce some tension in the story. But then, after Sasuke's gone and it's just Juugo and Suigetsu in the work, Juugo starts to go crazy and Suigetsu subdues him in like 2 seconds by choking him with water, so I guess Sasuke wasn't needed after all, and that's very stupid, because it really diminishes that aspect of Jugo's personality. And yeah, the issue of Juugo being bipolar is only an issue during the Itachi Pursuit arc, pretty much, because in the 5 Summit, Juugo goes crazy because he wanted to, so that he could get more powerful to fight against the Raikage, and he still gets shafted, and then in the war arc, Suigetsu subdues him very easily, so I guess Juugo going crazy is not a problem anymore, but that's a problem for the narrative. It was made a very big deal that Sasuke had to be around Juugo, otherwise, when he goes crazy, nobody can stop him. But that was completely forgotten. Also, the character goes through no character development whatsoever. He starts off the series very loyal to Sasuke. He remains very loyal to Sasuke up until the end. Even after Sasuke betrayed him and Suigetsu, he's still loyal to Sasuke in the war arc, wanting to protect Sasuke because reasons. Oh, Sasuke is the only guy that can keep me in check. Really, Suigetsu? Just did that a few chapters ago, man. You don't have to protect Sasuke anymore. He doesn't care about you. He donates half of his body to Sasuke when Killer Bee caves Sasuke's chest in with a lariat. So Juugo plugs the hole using his own flesh with a curse mark, which is a cool scene, and Juugo turns into a child because of that. But that doesn't really develop Jugo's character at all. He's completely loyal to Sasuke from the beginning because he was loyal to Kimaru, who was the only character that could bring him back, you know, from his deranged state, and now it's Sasuke. He's a new character. He's also the new Orochimaru vessel, which was supposed to be Kimaru before, even though Orochimaru is dead now, but Sasuke's here, he's gonna keep me in check, it's fine. So he's gonna be very loyal to Sasuke, and obviously, he doesn't really know much better than that. You can kind of infer he has been with Orochimaru for a long time because Orochimaru used him to develop the curse mark, which was developed a long time ago. After all, he gave the first curse mark to Anko when she was like 12 years old, and she's 28 in Naruto Shippuden, which means 16 years have passed between Anko receiving the curse mark and Anko in Naruto Shippuden, and Juugo is 19 years old, so did Orochimaru get Juugo when he was 3? I don't know. Well, maybe Orochimaru could have been using other people from Jugo's clan who had the ability to draw nature energy and become crazy like that to develop the curse mark, and only got Juugo as his prime specimen later on because he realized Juugo was so much more powerful than the others. That will work as well. But the thing is, we just don't know because we don't know anything about Jugo's backstory specifically. Just small snippets here and there that we can piece together a little bit, but it's not a whole lot that we know. And once again, we get no development for Juugo whatsoever. Everything he does is mechanical for the plot. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying doing mechanical things for the plot is a bad thing inherently. Obviously, those things have to happen for you to move the story forward. But the problem is when that's the only thing you're doing with a character. Like, yeah, not every scene needs to develop the character specifically, even though it makes the scene more interesting if you can see why the character is doing things and if the character is doing something different that he would usually do. Or maybe just a scene that hints at a deeper layer to that character, but nothing is really given to those three. Like, the easiest and most obvious arc for Juugo would be for him to get over his bipolar disorder by understanding he does not need Sasuke and he can go through a personal growth arc. It doesn't have to be something extremely long. Like, a single fight could probably do that for Juugo. You know, if you kind of mix it up with a few flashbacks here and there. And the same thing could be applied to Suigetsu as well, and even more so to him. You could give Suigetsu so much more, but nothing really happens, does it? And let's be real here, Kishimoto was pretty bad at giving more development to other characters from the Konoha 12 and Naruto Shippuden already, so introducing 3 new characters that are gonna be semi-relevant is not a good indicator that he's going to finish those characters in terms of development. Because if Kishimoto didn't finish Rock Lee, Shino, Temari, Hinata, Kiba, he wouldn't finish Suigetsu, Karin, and Juugo. These characters that got introduced much later and that we know less about, and that we also care less about by default. Because at least the characters from the Konoha 12 that didn't get a completed character arc in Naruto Shippuden got amazing development in Naruto Part 1, like Rock Lee, Shino, and Temari. Team Taka here, they were just introduced, so it's not as though the readers are gonna care about them. So if Kishimoto were to give focus to other characters, it would have been them, possibly, and mostly just keep Team Hebi as these background plot device characters, pretty much. Even if you're not gonna show them fighting a 1v1 or a major fight against someone, because every time they're fighting, Sasuke is the main character of that fight, you can still add a little bit more nuance to them and make them go through mini arcs. Like, this happened a lot during Naruto Part 1, and unfortunately, it seems like Kishimoto kinda didn't care too much about secondary characters in Naruto Shippuden, because if you take a look, either at the Chunin exams or the Sasuke retrieval arc, there are so many characters in each of those arcs, and they get so much development, and not a lot of screen time they're given. The same thing does not happen in Naruto Shippuden. Like, funnily enough, the sound team from the Chunin exams with Dosu, Kin, and Zaku got more development than Karin, Suigetsu, and Juugo, and they were on screen way less than Team Hebi. And they all died off screen, so it's crazy to think they had more development than Sasuke's team in Naruto Shippuden. Characters that stick around for so much longer and that has so much more screen time. And another problem for Team Hebi that I don't like to admit, but it's true, is that they don't look cool. Their designs are pretty boring, actually. Unlike the Forest of Death sound team, their designs are kind of generic. Like, they're not bad or anything, but they're not great either. They don't stand out like many other designs in the Naruto series. Juugo looks kind of cool when he uses the curse mark extensions and everything, but Suigetsu, kind of boring. I guess he's kind of cool when he uses his strong arms to wield the Executioner's Blade and everything, but not really either. And Karin's design, how can I put this, is kind of boring. And because the characters don't really look cool from the start, the readers don't really get invested into them very much, and they're not gonna care too much about those characters anyway, so they're not gonna care for a backstory on those characters or for the development. So Kishimoto's just like, yeah, just leave them there, let me use them when they're useful, and that's it. Which I guess is fine. Ideally, for characters that appear for a decent amount of time, they would get some development, but it's not the end of the world. It's just that one of those 3 characters shows up on screen, I'm just like, yeah, I don't care about this character. Like, I've never seen somebody saying that Karin, Suigetsu, or Juugo are their favorite characters in the series, or among their favorite characters. And we have to be real here, the cool factor does count, especially when it comes to a shonen anime. If one of those 3 characters had a very cool design and personality that made them very charismatic, I bet they would have gotten a little bit more development at least. But we also also have to admit that competing in coolness against Hebi Sasuke, the coolest character in the Naruto series and one of the coolest characters in fiction, is gonna be difficult. I just wish they had gotten a little bit more development. And if you wanna see how I would develop those characters, definitely check out my rewriting Naruto series. It's showing up on screen right now. Subscribe to my channel and ring notifications. Those things really help me out. Like the video too, that's very cool. Helps to spread the word, and thank you so much for watching.